Today myself, Balwinder, and my colleague Sharina ma'am are here to talk to you about the SLCs. This is one of the reporting systems that has been followed, highly recommended by the IB. Now before we begin the presentation, I would just like to ask a few questions. Like, most of us here sitting in the audience are very well versed with this particular process. So I would just like to ask, what is your understanding about the SLCs, and why is it important, and why is it so recommended by the IB? Yeah, please.
It's a three-way conference wherein students, parents and teachers come on the same line and share their understanding and show their learning journey throughout the year.
Alright, yes, very true. Yes, please ma'am.
Good morning all. Apart from all these things, as the name suggests, student-led conference. Apart from their learning journey and sharing their learning journey, we see that all the things are planned by students, and teachers are just the passive model, like they support, but most of the things are planned and executed by a student.
Yeah, very truly said. But I would just like to ask you that why a student-led conference? You know, what was so wrong with our very old parent-teacher meetings? The very nice, the way it used to be in our schools. I think they were, the best word is the dreadful meetings, because I still remember on the Saturdays when we used to have those parent-teacher meetings, we used to just keep our fingers crossed the entire night, thinking that the teacher would say something nice about me, to my parents, so that my day was made. Otherwise, it would just be the reversal, okay? The entire week would just be digging your head down in the books because your teacher thinks that you're not doing a good job. And to top it off all, if the homeroom or the class teacher turns out to be a maths teacher, then all the more good. And I had a similar experience in class 8. My homeroom was my maths teacher, and according to her, I still had to study a lot harder. And nothing about the essays that I did in the class, which were being read aloud in the class, there was no mention of that. The silver medal that I got in the cycling race, there was no mention of that to my parents. Then the science exhibition that I took part in, there was neither a mention of that, but only the maths grade mattered the entire year. And that is what I used to always feel, that I wish you just could put in a good word about me, that I had done something else the entire year. So reflecting on all such things, IB had come up with a program where they felt the students should be the ones who should be responsible for their own learnings, and they should be the ones who should be able to interact with their parents and tell them in a more appropriate way as to what it is and how it is, what they're doing the entire year. So coming up next to this is, we would just like to ask you, just look at the three symbols here, and just tell us what is the focal point here in the three programs that you see.
The learner, yes.
Okay.
So who's the learner? The student.
It's the student in all the three programs, which is the focal point here. And that is what actually is relevant, that is what IB emphasizes. If it is a student, then we should, as teachers, should make sure that the students are responsible for their own learning. We make them independent enough to make choices for their own decisions, and they should be responsible enough for their own assessments and take they should reflect upon how they have done, whether they've graded well or they have still to improve. Now we hear from the horse's mouth, like from the IB itself. We will just read out, we picked up a few quotes from the IB. As it says in the PYP, could you just please read out, ma'am, for us? It's PYP happens, and page 52, it talks about the reporting system being followed for PYP. Good morning, everyone. Student-led conference PYP, it says reporting. How do we choose to communicate information about assessment? The conference will involve the students discussing and reflecting upon samples of work that they have previously chosen to share with their parents. These samples have been previously selected with guidance and support from the teacher and could be from the student's portfolio. The student identifies strengths and areas of improvement. It enables parents to gain a clear insight into the kind of work the child is doing and offers an opportunity to them to discuss it with their child. The conferences must be carefully prepared and time must be set aside for the students to practice their presentations. The format of this conference will depend on the age of the student, and all of the participants must understand the format and their roles prior to the conference. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would just like all of you to just reflect on the keywords which are there. Anybody? The keywords which are there in this particular paragraph. What does emphasize? Yes, Rishita, please, yeah. Please, just the keywords which are coming to your mind. Very true. Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah. Reflecting. Very good. What else? Yes, opportunities for and strengths and weaknesses. Areas of improvement. Correct. So yeah, ma'am. Practice. All right. So it is a calculation of, it clearly states here that it is the students discussing and reflecting samples of work. Then it also says that it's selected with guidance and support from the teacher. Okay, the teachers are just supposed to guide the students as to what they want to select and put it in their portfolios. It also identifies strengths and areas for improvement. So it should not have the samples that you choose. You should not only have the child's progress only. It should also reflect in a way where the child still needs to improve. Then the parents give a clear insight into the kind of work the child is doing through the child's eyes. They discuss it with their own child. And the format of this conference will depend on the age of the student. This is very important. Why it is mentioned that what is I want to state by this, that it will depend upon the age of the child. Why it is mentioned like that? What do you think? How do you reflect on that?
Age of the child, as in small kids are not able to present it in their way, and they don't have that way of managing everything.
Yeah, so that's why it said it is guided by the teachers for the very small children. But as we progress, as our children grow up, there is a different approach towards the similar SLCs, and that is for the MYP. It states that we've taken this from the Standards and Practices, section C4, assessments. It says that the school has systems for reporting students' progress aligned with the assessment philosophy of the program. So here again, yes, you have to pick up students' work, but here it emphasizes majorly on the assessments that the children have been undertaking throughout the year. Then again, from the Standard Principles in Practice, it states that in which students share assessment data about the learning with their parents, possibly supported with the portfolio. So here, yes, as the children grow up, we try to support their portfolios with the assessments that have been taken, and this would include the good ones and maybe the ones where they still need to improve. Now, I'll hand over to my colleague Shalina ma'am to take you further.
Hi, good morning all. So basically, so far what we've looked at is what SLC is and what IB has to say about SLC, be it PYP, EYP or in MYP, as to what are IB guidelines to it. What I want you to think about now is that what have we been doing so far and how far we are matching up with IB expectations, okay? So I'm sure that there's a lot of experience in the audience and we've been doing a lot of things, because when we asked you what SLC is, a lot of you all came up with that it is a student-driven activity. It is something which is entirely directed by the students. So let's look at what SLC is exactly.
Any idea why this image? Okay, balance. So what aspect of balance do we need to really create in our SLC? Okay. Yeah.
Maybe what the child knows and what he's learned.
Okay, fine.
Co-curricular activities and academics.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I want you to reflect on the way we do our SLCs and think about, are we balancing, and is our weighing scale actually balanced, or it's on one side? So are we too performance oriented, or are we focusing more on, doing exciting things on an SLC, and somewhere we are not, focusing on the learning, or we are too focused on the learning and somewhere we are not engaging the parents so much? So the idea was to actually get you through that, are we creating that balance which IB wants, okay? And it's about, this image reflects that it's just not about all good things that we show to the parents, it's also about that the students get an opportunity to talk about what are some of their challenges, what are certain things that actually bother them when they are at school. So basically, SLC is nothing but an opportunity for students to talk about their strengths and achievements. Possibly, it's a storytelling. It's students who tell their story about how they are learning in the school, and in the process of sharing their success stories, it is automatically going to give them a sense of pride. Also, it's an experience. If it is done appropriately, it will provide students to take responsibility for their learning. So SLC is not just something, one reporting that we need to do in a year. It's also an opportunity to develop a sense of responsibility amongst the students for their learning. Thus, taking responsibility not just for their success, but also for their shortcoming. So while you are thinking about SLC and it's coming very soon, we would suggest that we also think about, are we creating that balance, and are we taking care of both the things, the strengths and areas of improvement. Thus, SLC is a process wherein we have the family and the student leads the discussion, the student becomes the leader, and the role of the teacher is mere facilitator, as one of the teachers said, that it is led by the students, so we need to facilitate that process. Again, as mentioned in the PYP, it has to be age appropriate, because at certain grade levels we might not be able to expect children to do everything, and we might have to do a little bit of hand-holding at that age. And it's more about families become more actively engaged in discussion. So while we are planning our SLC, we need to think about, are we providing that opportunity for discussion between the student and the parent? Are we allowing them to sit aside and talk about, is the child getting an opportunity to talk to the parent about what are his strengths, what are his challenges, what he's been doing well, show his work. Thus, it's about seeing what school is like through the eyes of their child. So it's more about the child showing them what school is to them. Thus, then how do we actually implement SLC? And as we all know that IB does not have prescribed, and set agendas for us. It gives us flexibility and creativity, and therefore there is no one recipe to SLC. However, we would want to emphasize on student portfolio, because this is one area which I think we can all work towards, because somewhere in that whole process of the activities which we do on the SLC, we lose on to this possibility of, discussion over the student portfolio, where the student sits with the parents and discusses the portfolio with the parents. So the real content of a portfolio are the child's thoughts and his or her reasons for selecting a particular entry. Many a times we just ask, and being a teacher I know that we tell them, okay, pick up something and put it in your portfolio. However, we need to provide that opportunity on the SLC day for them to talk to their parents that why that particular selection in the portfolio, because maybe there is something special for the child for that particular activity. Maybe according to him he's done really well, or according to him that was the most challenging task and still he's attempted. So basically, are we giving that opportunity for discussion? As teachers, we need to help students to become competent and thoughtful tellers. And if we provide that opportunity for discussion, we are allowing them to be storytellers. We are allowing them to be thoughtful about their own learning. Thus, these are some of the things that you can include in the portfolio. You can read it. And this is a kind of a checklist which we came across and we thought we can share. I'm sure we might be doing a lot of things. You can take a couple of minutes to just go through it and what we can do before the SLC, during the SLC and post SLC. And we'll also keep this in the school data so that you can actually use, because we're going to also share some templates with you all later on, so you can even use those templates and tweak it for yourself. Yes, sir. You want to read? Okay.
Create schedule. First of all, before the SLCs, what is the basic steps about? The teachers are just facilitators. They create a schedule. They help students organize work from all disciplines. They help students to goal-setting procedures. Goal setting in the sense what the student feels, what he wants to achieve. Maybe he hasn't still now done it, but he still wants to achieve it by the year end. So how does he, supposing in maths, where he is right now and where he wants to go. Facilitate and script the conference process. We just script it for them in the sense not write it down, but they should just have a dry run in the sense how they want to welcome the parents, sit down, and then how they want to go through the entire process. Ask students to review self-reflections of chosen work and complete a summary reflection of work to date. So here again, we ask them to just compile all the works which they want to reflect upon. Allow and facilitate students practice. We give them enough time to practice before the SLC. Send out to invite to parents. We as teachers will just be there to sending out invites to the parents and telling them the due date and all that. Prepare guides and feedback forms. This is again a very important aspect. We should always, after the SLCs, we should have various kinds of feedback forms from the students, from the parents, and we have a few samples here which we will share with you after the presentation. And during the presentation, during the SLC, meet and greet the parents. This is to be done in all levels and years. Give a quick overview of the process. Help student and parents settle in. Monitor progress of conference from a distance. See, all these points are reflecting again that teachers are just facilitators and not active participants. Offer suggestions if needed. Help close the conference. Ask for questions. Hand out feedback forms. So we will be taking a backseat here and just be there to hand out the feedback forms, or and the children are the ones who take the lead for the entire conference. We encourage parents to call if they have questions. Sit back and enjoy the process. So teachers for once have a good time here. They just sit back and enjoy the entire process. After the SLCs, celebrate with the students for a job well done. Collect feedback forms. I think this looks very simple and easy. For once, the teachers can really relax and have a nice time and let the students do the sweating job. Now we'll just share one video with you.
Understand what's going on with it and why I have to do it, but it really did make a big impact because my parents, it opened up a conversation between me and my parents about what I want to do throughout the rest of my high school years. It really is student-led. It's not a connections teacher talking to you about, well, your student's done this and your student's done that and they've done a great job. Your connections teacher sits there, your family sits there, and you talk. And then once you're done talking, they ask questions about what you want to do. So truly it is student-led. It's a process. And as you go on, you really start to see how far you've grown. And I don't think I would have seen my growth without my portfolio and my student-led conferences and the navigation program.
So the fact that you were leading the conference instead of in elementary school and the teacher just talks about you, it's kind of embarrassing. But here you're going through your portfolio and you're telling your mom this is what I'm doing. And when you say what you're doing, it makes you feel better about what you're doing. So that was nice just because like I knew what was going on instead of the teacher telling me what was going on. Because like in high school it's like it's about you now. You're carrying yourself, the teacher's not carrying you. What have I accomplished in school this year? What have I accomplished? What have I accomplished in school this year? What have you accomplished in school this year? After my student-led conference, I felt a lot better, and I felt that I knew about what areas I needed to discuss with my parents.
My parents don't really know all the work I do, so it gives me kind of time to shine about showing how much I succeed and what I get to accomplish in school, and they kind of get to know me better.
It's not hard. I like it. It's a chance to show off yourself to your teachers and your parents.
It's a combination of portfolio and advisory, and it gives you time to kind of like base your future and give you kind of a steer towards what you want to be.
It's kind of fun, actually. I mean, you get to like show what you've done through high school.
But it's based on helping you succeed, and so if you put the right stuff in during your advisory, that student-led conference will guide you through your high school career.
Be prepared. Don't do what I did my freshman year, where I put together my portfolio literally 15 minutes before my conference. Didn't turn out well. I went in with this thing, it looked absolutely terrible, and it's like when you have your advisor there and your parents there, you want it to be somewhat professional and look presentable. So I definitely use the time given to you to work on your portfolio. With the portfolio, it has all of the documents you need for your student-led conference. It's like right there. With the connections class itself or the advisory, you have these kids who are in the same predicament as you are. They're not really sure where they want to go or what they want to do, but they have all of these amazing things that they've accomplished this year putting into their portfolio. So it makes you stronger as a class. And you kind of bond with these people because you're with these same people all 4 years of your high school career. And then with your portfolio, you can take that to your student-led conference and do amazing at that, which gives you great practice for your senior presentation. Well, my portfolio, it has everything that I've been doing since freshman year. Inside a portfolio, you usually have about 3 best works from each high school year, as well as a copy of all your awards that you've earned here. My advice would be, first of all, to kind of stick with it. As a freshman, you don't really see the kind of significance of it, but as you keep going through your high school years, you see how much you've grown. With the student-led conferences, of course, they give you the rubric and tell you what to talk about so that you can think about it, you can formulate good answers so that you can go up there and you can give a good presentation. And I've made it my own. I've taken it with
I hope that you got some idea about the portfolio and how portfolio can be used as an important tool to talk about student learning, and it can actually be the central thing in your SLC. The video is in the school data. It's a 12-minute video you can actually watch before you're planning for your SLC. Now we are going to just share some templates which we found out. They might not be applicable at each level, however, they're really helpful to give some ideas and frameworks which you can then tweak it according to your age group and your class needs. So this is a student action form which allows them to talk about what subjects they've really done well and what subjects they really need to improve on. So this is something that you can give. Then there is student evaluation form which can be done at the end of the SLC, which has certain questions, if you can just specific to their SLC experience, which can also be a reflection for you as a teacher how well you facilitated the process. This is the goal setting which Balvina ma'am was talking about, that you allow them to set specific goals for academic progress for themselves. These are some learning targets. Again, a template and a rubric for self-evaluation. Certain commentary sheet, this can go within the portfolio where they actually talk about, it's kind of an index or a content page for a portfolio. Yeah.
And this is parent evaluation form which can be used even at the end of to take feedback from the parents as to how far they found that SLC a good learning experience for them. So all this we've put it in the school data called morning assembly, so you can actually take that and try and use it in your SLC. Hopefully that's helpful to you all. There's this very cute we realized that when we were looking at material for student-led conference that it can really get a little challenging to help PYP and early PYP students understand what student-led is. And we found this animation video and that really works well with them. It actually tells them what is the process of student-led conference, so you can show them in the class and tell them, okay, this is what we are going to do on that day. So you can even use this video for your students.
A student-led conference. I have so much to show you.
Step 1. Be on time for your student-led conference. There will be conferences before you and conferences after you, so you will need to respect your scheduled conference time.
Mom, Dad, this is Mrs. Mariel. Mrs. Mariel, this is my mom, Jane, and this is my dad, John.
Step 2. Introductions. Notice how John Jr. introduced his parents to me and introduced me to his parents.
This is my planner, Mum and Dad. Here is where I write the assignments each day and check them off when I am done. I haven't been using it much lately, though.
Maybe that's why you have had some late assignments. We should work on using this planner more.
Step 3. Share your planner with your parents. Show them how you use your planner or how you do not use your planner.
This is my self-evaluation, Mum and Dad. This is where I evaluated my performance and behavior in each of my classes. The first one says, I am meeting academic standards. I put a 4 in all my classes because I am getting A's and B's in all my classes. The second one says, I am working to my potential. I put a 4 in all my classes, except for math. I think I can do better in math.
Step 4. Go through the categories on your self-evaluation sheet. Do not spend too much time on each individual box. Point out scores that stand out, like 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Here are the goals I have set for myself for the rest of the school year.
Step 5. Share your goals with your parents. They will love this time. It will make them so proud that you have thought about how to improve yourself.
This is my portfolio. My first class is science. Here is my last test I took in science, and the research paper I wrote. I did pretty well on both. My next class is...
Step 6. Go through your portfolio. Share the work you have in your binder, highlighting your accomplishments. You should have work to show for each one of your classes.
Mrs. Mariel, I am ready for you to join my conference now.
Thank you, John Jr. Well, Jean, John, here is an evaluation filled out by the teachers. Step 7. Invite your teacher to join your conference. I will share how your teachers evaluated you. This is a good time to see if your scores match your teacher's scores.
Mum and Dad, here is a conference sheet we have to fill out together at home tonight and return to school tomorrow.
Step 8. Give your parents the post-conference form that you will need to fill out together. Be sure to return it the next day.
Thank you, Mum and Dad, for coming to my conference and for all your support.
Step 9. Thank you, parents, for coming and for supporting you. This step is often forgotten, but so important.
We are so proud of you, son. You were very honest about yourself, and we loved looking at all your good work with you. This was a great day.
Alright, this is just one step for our ERP friends to facilitate them, just to show them around and how to prepare them. Thank you one and all for being such a good audience. Thank you so much sir and ma'am, Shada ma'am, and real special thanks to Joanne ma'am, our coordinator. She's a go-getter for us and she makes sure that we do it to the last moment. Real special thanks to her, and thank you so much.